John's on the podcast today, not because, you are kind of a celebrity. We'll talk about season 1 of The Apprentice a little later.
Oh,
okay?
boy.
God,
Stand by.
Remain married.
No, not here. All the dirty laundry's coming out. You've got some of the most powerful people in Hollywood waiting for John to get to their van. And John, when we were talking the other day, you mentioned awnings on RVs, and it's such a great example of another thing you never think of that has so much opportunity attached to it. Are those numbers you told me real?
Yeah, it's crazy. So as our little niche becomes not so little anymore, and I almost like that it flies under the radar because a lot of folks don't even know it exists. So you talk about everyone's going one way, so you go the other. I'll take it all day long. It's like when there's a gold rush and everyone's panning for gold, somebody's making a killing, making shovels and picks and gold pans. And that's
that guy
where
was
I
called Levi Strauss. He did okay.
Exactly. So yeah, the other day, there's a major RV manufacturer supplier. And so to this company's credit, they identified this little industry that's not so little anymore. So they reached out and they wanted to chat with us further. We visited their facility, and this is a company that does over $4.5 billion of RV OEM parts a year. So that's not the sale price of an RV. We're talking about like plumbing fixtures, chassis, axles, shower heads, awnings that you spoke about. We have Owl, and we produce a lot for our industry, but this blew my mind. I walk into this, multi-100,000 square foot warehouse, and they are making awnings. And I'm looking at these robotic pallet movers coming in, bringing pallets and dropping them, and there's just sea of people manufacturing stuff. And then I asked them, I go, how many awnings are you making here? And they go, we make between like 5,000 and 10,000 a day. Every single day. To sit down and think about that. Do anything 5,000 times. And these are awnings with probably 50 or 60 individual parts that need to be screwed together, wired, tested, boxed, shipped. 5,000, 10,000. I mean, it's mind-blowing. And I guarantee nobody listening to this podcast, if I said this company's name, has ever heard of this company before. And they're doing $4.5 billion. You have no idea. I mean, to see that many people assembling that and to see the breadth of people employed by them, it was pretty mind-bending.
Part of the reason that I think so many people in our country have come to the erroneous conclusion that opportunity is dead is because they never had a chance to tour an RV company. They haven't had a chance to walk through a manufacturing facility like yours, because nobody really takes the time to have an in-depth conversation about an awning or about an attachment on the back of a van they didn't know existed. But these stories, John, they're everywhere. And part of punching through to the other side of our lopsided economy right now, I think, has to involve telling them.
As you were saying that, it made me realize, you know why I took the phone call from this company? You know why I went and met with the CEO? Guess what his first job at this RV company, back when they were a few million in revenue, guess what his first job was?
Welding.
Yep. He started as a welder, and what I loved, CEO of a $4.5 billion company. When they reached out and they emailed me, he said, I started as a welder. Because he knew that would speak to me. Because he knew that I started as a welder. And so now he's on a different plane, but CEO to CEO of successful companies, and both of us shared that we started as welders. And that was everything to me. I knew that we would then speak the same language. He wasn't somebody installed by Goldman Sachs after they did a big fund round for this company and put in a CEO that was from Wall Street. This dude had his hands dirty, and I said, I'll take a meeting from that guy any day.
And this is the tricky thing, John.